Good morning, Laguna Woods. It's inspiration for today again. I'm glad you tuned in. We've had some really special guests lately, but none like today because this is my daughter Holly.
Hello.
It used to be Bradford, now McGee.
I've
Actually,
I've been on the show before. They probably know me.
Holly did do it. We did a couple shows from Germany
Yeah.
right before the Rhine River.
Yeah.
In fact, I looked that up. Go on YouTube and show number 72.
Oh.
Holly talked about grandparenting from the kids, well, the mother of the grandkids' perspective. And wonderful tips. I love that show. In fact, that's one of our more viewed shows. So it happens
Oh.
to be episode number 72. Our verse for the day. Holly, I haven't even read it for Holly yet, but it's this. It's a famous one. Jesus himself said, one of the last things he said, go and make disciples of all nations. And the key word is all, because he wanted the gospel spread throughout the world. And at Saddleback, we talk about SHAPE and our acronym of
Mhm.
how God has built things into your life, including the E, which is experiences. And God started to build overseas experiences into your life at a much earlier age than most people get,
Mm.
which was 13. At 13, you went off to an organization called Teen Mission down in Merritt Island, Florida. Is where they trained you for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to give kind of the end from the. Then you spent about 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks in the Philippines.
Mhm.
Teen Mission's view was let's make it as hard as we can so that when they get in the field, they can do it. Kind of like the Marines do.
Yeah, they called it boot camp actually.
Like
So
the
we
Marines
slept
would.
in tents and we pumped water and washed our laundry in buckets, and it was pretty hard, but then when we got to the Philippines it was no problem. It was
Yes,
easy.
because you'd had it harder.
Yeah.
I remember, well, and if you all have been to Florida, South Florida, actually, this is right next to what?
Oh, the Space Center.
Exactly, Cape
Yeah.
Canaveral or Kennedy Space Center.
Kennedy,
And
yeah.
those are,
I think.
and didn't you get to see one of
Yeah, we saw a launch of
the
the space.
launch that went right off during your 2 weeks there?
Yeah.
But anyway, if you've ever been down there, it is the hottest, most humidity, and most
A
mosquitoes
lot of mosquitoes.
of anywhere.
Yes.
Miserable.
It's true.
Not to mention, do you remember what happened? So you were in a tent by the lake.
There was an alligator outside my tent at night, and I heard it. It was very scary, but he didn't come in, so
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
okay.
But I know that was. Well,
It
never
was
mind. You
very.
probably didn't get up to go to the bathroom that
No,
night.
it was pretty
Uh,
frightful. But I'm sure they kept us safe.
yeah, sure.
But
Anyway, but I love that group team, and so then you went on to the Philippines, and what did you do
yeah,
there?
well, and I do want to preface to say that I had had a heart for wanting to go overseas and to um, be a little missionary since I was 5. And so I think you, as parents, didn't say, oh, that's a silly dream.
Mm,
You encouraged me, and you even took me to China actually when I was 10.
that's
And so
true.
you really encouraged that in me, and you and mom allowed me to go to the Philippines at such a young age. And being a mom, I don't know how I would feel with my kids wanted to do that. So
You
that
were
was
part of a.
that was
There was certainly
trusting.
adult supervision
So
in
there
it.
was 5 adult leaders and there was 30 teenagers.
Yes.
And they really were very safe. They thought through everything. They had been doing this for years. And I think those things are important obviously to consider. So we did that boot camp, and then teams went all over the world, and our team went to the Philippines. So
So it was
that's
a
how we got
choir
there.
team, and therefore you did puppets and singing. You did
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 shows per day
Yeah.
at literally 5 or 6 different islands, and you would take ferries.
Yes. It's true.
Yeah,
We took little ferries, and I mean, those were experiences. There was people going around selling like frog legs and just some different type stuff, but we had so much fun. And even to this day, I'm still in contact with most of my team from all of those years
it
ago.
is.
and we just saw God do so many things, and it was just such a life-changing experience. So,
The next year, you actually were willing to go back, even though you had to go through boot camp
yeah,
again.
it's true.
Where'd you go that year?
So that year I took the bus all the way from California to Florida. And then we did boot camp, and then we went to India, and that was another big adventure. I took the train from the North India to the South India, and but we actually made a film, a Christian film, with Indian actors and actresses to be used in their language to help share about God's love. So it was really neat.
What an awesome experience. And then it went on from there, and she had various other numerous short term missions and things. But eventually, you end up working for Saddleback,
Hmm.
and in that role, you went on one of the very first peace trips.
I did. I actually went on a peace scouting trip. So it was, I was representing children's, and there was someone else from youth, and we were from all
Oh,
different parts of the staff of Saddleback, and we checked out a lot in Rwanda to
you were
see,
representing children.
yeah, children's ministry,
Yeah.
to see if it'd be appropriate for children to come, just what types of things we could be doing. And now children's ministry goes and youth ministry goes, and um, they have a big partnership with Rwanda, and so that's been
And of
really
course,
neat.
literally thousands of Saddleback
Mm.
people, including out of youth and children that Holly mentioned, have been to Rwanda, making a huge difference. We
Mm.
just had the president of Rwanda here at
Yeah,
Saddleback,
amazing.
basically thanking us for
Mm.
all that that's been done. And I did this as an interesting aside to people. So because it was like one of the maybe the first trip of Saddleback Peace, you got to do something that most people haven't done ever
I
since.
did. I got to see the gorillas. So
Because the
there's some
Rwanda officials took them.
yeah, there's pictures of me very close to the gorillas, and I actually did not know I was pregnant with Silas, my son.
Oh,
So he was there too.
yeah, yeah. Well, you just and so it, all that to say, and now you're back. Holly and her husband Rob actually has been hired at.
Mhm.
Why don't you tell it?
We are moving to Berlin to work at Saddleback Berlin. So we're very excited. It's a great fit for our family. And obviously, we'll get to be a part of ministry there with people from so many different countries and
Yes.
cultures. We'll all come together at Saddleback Berlin.
Yeah,
So we're
we're putting
excited.
up a picture behind us as we talk of Saddleback Berlin. You meet in a nice room is basically it, but there's
Yeah.
like 300 people.
Hmm.
I was told it was from 21 different nations. You think it might be more?
I think it could be.
Yeah.
That's my guess. We'll have to ask Pastor Dave.
So that's part of Saddleback's strategy. And we have four
Hmm.
overseas campuses. So they not only reach the local people with
Yeah,
Christ,
German. Yeah.
but since these people come from so many different and mostly, well, would you say African
I
countries?
would say everywhere.
Oh,
I mean, just a city like Berlin is going to have people from every country, and the common language is English. And so, while there is German subtitles on verses and everything, we all can come together in English um, and worship God. And
so Rick preaches in English.
yes,
Okay,
and Pastor Dave does actually translate the sermon into German, so you can listen in German if you'd like. And
great.
I will be working on my German. I am working on my
Well, so
German.
Holly and Rob have lived in Bonn, Germany for the
Uh-huh.
last 2 years working in a different international church. But we're at Saddleback thrilled to have you. And even though I might be just a tad prejudiced, but it'll be great. And I love that that's happening. So that's kind of how the international campuses is one of the ways that Saddleback wants to continue to fulfill
Mm.
that verse of taking the gospel to all nations. Well, we're going to talk more about that in the next couple shows, and or at least tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. See you tomorrow, Laguna Woods.